Some trades feel effortless. Others, no matter how prepared you are, leave you frozen, second-guessing or paralyzed by fear. Why is that? Why do some traders seem to flow through the markets while others fight themselves at every step? The answer isn't in your strategy. It's in the story you tell yourself. It's in who you believe you are when you sit down to trade. Today's video is built on the wisdom of two voices. Maxwell Maltz, author of Psycho-Cybernetics, who taught that self-image is the software driving all behavior. Mark Douglas, author of Trading in the Zone, who revealed that consistent trading isn't about predicting markets, it's about mastering yourself. These two teachings shaped how I understood trading psychology. But as you'll see later, my greatest breakthrough came when I discovered how faith ties it all together. Maxwell Maltz taught that self-image is the mind's operating system. Your brain doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and reality. It treats them the same. If you picture yourself frozen, panicked, or second-guessing, your nervous system reacts as if it's happening. But if you rehearse calm, precise execution, your brain begins to believe that's who you are. The first step is awareness. Notice the stories you tell yourself. Write them down. Ask, are these rooted in fact or in fear? For example, saying, I can't trade volatility, is usually a belief, not truth. One successful trade in volatility proves it wrong. And often those words carry years of weight. I always mess this up. Shame from early failures bleeds into trading. I'll never figure this out. Frustration that convinces you not to give strategies time. I can't handle losing. Loss feels like rejection, not just money gone. I don't deserve to pass this prop firm challenge. Hidden guilt or unworthiness undermines progress. The second step is mental rehearsal. Picture yourself executing with discipline. The click of the mouse, stop loss set, steady breath as candles move. Don't just see it, feel it. Imagine composure in your chest, calm in your mind, and confidence in your voice as you say, I am capable. I am disciplined. I trade without fear. Affirmations can help here, but only if they go deeper than words. For me, they felt hollow until I learned to anchor them in something stronger. I'll share that later. For now, remember this. Your self-image is trainable. If you see yourself as competent, hesitation dissolves. If you see yourself as fearful, even the best setup becomes paralysis. Your brain will act out the story you give it. Change the story, and you change the trader. Mark Douglas taught that consistent trading isn't about outsmarting the market. It's about mastering yourself. Every trade is uncertain. Every outcome is random. The traders who thrive are the ones who accept this truth so fully that fear no longer controls them. Here are his 5 fundamental truths, the foundation of trading psychology. Anything can happen. No trade is guaranteed. You don't need to know what will happen next to make money. Probability is enough. Wins and losses are randomly distributed. An edge is probability, not certainty. Every market moment is unique. The past doesn't dictate the next candle. When these truths sink in, something shifts. You stop expecting the market to reward or punish you. Instead, you see each trade as just one more event in a long series, nothing more. Douglas also laid out the 7 principles of consistency. Define your edge with precision. Predefine your risk before you enter. Accept that risk fully. Execute without hesitation. Stay calm and disciplined through the outcome. Monitor and correct bad habits. Never violate your rules. It's simple in words, but transformative in practice. The power isn't in predicting the next move. It's in creating a mental environment where fear, hesitation, and compulsion can no longer thrive. Before we go deeper, there's a layer beneath everything Maltz and Douglas teach, the hidden beliefs that quietly drive all the rest. You might understand risk, accept probability, and rehearse calm execution, yet still find yourself frozen or sabotaging trades. Why? Because the subconscious doesn't run on logic, it runs on identity. Think of it like this: strategy equals the map, psychology equals the compass, but self-image? That's the traveler. If the traveler believes they're lost, even the best map and compass won't help. That's why traders can study for years, know every rule, yet still break them. Because deep down they don't see themselves as disciplined, capable, or worthy of success. So how do we begin to shift that self-image? By replacing the underlying scripts we've been carrying with new ones. For example, instead of, "I can't hold through volatility, markets are too wild," try, "Volatility is normal. I can stay calm because my risk is predefined." Instead of, "If I lose again, it proves I'm not cut out for this," try, "A loss is feedback, not identity. Every professional takes losses." Instead of, "I'll never be consistent," try, "Consistency is built daily. Each session is another brick in that foundation." These aren't empty positive statements, they're identity replacements. Every time you swap fear-based scripts for truth-based ones, you strengthen the image of yourself as a calm, capable trader. Before I share my personal story, let's pause and look at 4 quick, practical applications you can begin using right now. These go beyond the usual affirmations and journaling, and will give you tools to rewire your trading self-image in real time. Psychologist Andrew Menaker calls this trading your inner market. Keep a small notebook beside you while you trade. During key moments, before you enter, right after a win, or after a loss, write down 3 things. What am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling this way? How do I usually respond when I feel this? This might sound simple, but it builds awareness. Instead of being controlled by impulses, you start to notice them as they arise. That tiny gap between emotion and action is where discipline is born. Your nervous system often decides faster than your logic. That's why you can know the rules, yet still break them. One practical tool is slow, intentional breathing, exhaling longer than you inhale. Some traders even use heart rate monitors or HRV apps for feedback. It's like tapping the brakes before you take a curve. A calm nervous system keeps you from revenge trading or freezing in the moment. This goes deeper than positive affirmations. Corey Mitchell, a chartered market technician, explains that lasting change comes from identity, not just environment or behavior rules. Think of it like layers. Environment equals where you trade. Behavior equals what you do. Belief equals what you think is true. Identity equals who you see yourself as. Identity is the deepest layer. If you only say, "I follow my plan," but deep down believe, "I'm undisciplined," the identity will win every time. That's why we need what I call identity bombardment, flooding your mind daily with reminders of who you choose to be until your actions start to match that picture. Instead of, "Losses mean I'm failing," try, "I'm a professional. losses are simply my cost of doing business. Instead of, I chase because I hate missing out. Try, I am a patient hunter. Opportunity returns every single day. These aren't just motivational lines, they're identity replacements. You're teaching your subconscious to see you differently, not as a fearful, hesitant trader, but as someone disciplined, patient, and professional. Write them down, speak them out loud, post them where you can see them while you trade. The more often you bombard your mind with this new identity, the faster your self-image shifts. And when your identity changes, your behavior naturally follows. Not all self-talk is created equal. To master it, use 3 types at specific times. Instructional self-talk before a trade. Remind yourself of process. Wait for confirmation. Entry, stop, target. Motivational self-talk during a trade. Encourage yourself. Stay calm. I stick to my edge. The outcome doesn't define me. Reflective self-talk after a trade. Learn without judgment. What did I feel? What triggered me? What did I do well? By cycling through instructional to motivational to reflective, you train your mind to be steady before, during, and after every decision. These practices, real-time journaling, nervous system regulation, identity bombardment, and tactical self-talk, are small steps that create big shifts. Layer them into your daily trading, and you'll notice your self-image starting to change, not just in theory, but in practice. For some traders, this is the recipe they need to manage emotions in the market. Predefining risk, accepting randomness, executing without hesitation. These steps can bring clarity and confidence. For me, I have to be honest, it did help to an extent. It helped me understand where I was with my trading, how my fears showed up, and how to respond. But what truly impacted the root of my self-image, those deep-seated beliefs I had carried since childhood, the ones I couldn't shake even after self-help books, hypnosis, or meditation, was something different. The shift began the day I decided to go deeper in my spiritual life with Jesus. I grew up in a Christian family, but I had never fully given my heart to Him. For years, I knew the basics, but had no real relationship or daily rhythm with God. Once I chose to give my time, and eventually my trading journey, to Him, things inside me began to change. My perspective, my confidence, my peace, all of it began to realign. Still, even as I tried visualization, affirmations, and carefully defined risk rules, fear and doubt would creep in, freezing me at key moments. That's when I realized this wasn't just about surface-level techniques. It was about surrender. Not just asking God for help, but placing my trading, my fears, my hopes, my identity, completely in His hands. And when I did, something profound clicked. The words I was speaking to myself, the dialogue I rehearsed in my mind, carried immense weight. Every whisper of self-doubt had been fueling my struggles. Every fear-laden phrase was reinforcing the very patterns I wanted to break. When I began aligning my words with truth, faith, and confidence, my self-image transformed. I stopped seeing losses as personal failure and started seeing them as part of the journey. I experienced a peace I never thought possible in trading. My fear of risk disappeared. When losses came in streaks, I didn't freeze. I executed calmly, knowing my mind and heart were anchored in something larger than my circumstances. At first, I didn't see the difference between affirmations I had learned from self-help books and the words I was beginning to declare in faith. Both looked the same on the outside, speaking phrases over myself, trying to believe something different about who I was. But one was limited to my own willpower, while the other carried the weight of God's Spirit. Self-help affirmations had always felt like I was trying to convince myself of something I didn't fully believe. I could repeat them, even try to stir emotion behind them, but deep down it often felt hollow, like trying to build a house without a foundation. What changed was when I understood that words connected to God's truth don't just float in the air. They pierce the heart. They carry spiritual weight. When I began to align what I spoke with what He says about me, the words no longer felt forced. They carried authority. Because they weren't grounded in my effort to manufacture confidence, they were anchored in His promises. And this showed up directly in my trading. After a losing trade, before, I'd say things like, "I'm still a great trader," or "Losses don't define me." But it felt fake, like I was covering pain with empty words. Now I can declare, "The Lord is my provider. This loss doesn't shake who I am in Christ." And it anchors me in peace instead of frustration. In a drawdown, before I'd force affirmations like, "I'm confident, I'm consistent," but internally I felt panic rising. Now I remind myself, even in the valley, God is with me. He leads me beside still waters. And that changes how I handle risk, because my heart is steady. When fear of missing out creeps in, this is why the shift mattered. One was me striving to say it until I believe it. The other was God reshaping my beliefs as I spoke His truth. That's the difference between words that are empty echoes and words that carry life and transformation. And this is where James 3 comes alive. The tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boasts. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. The words we speak, to others but also to ourselves, ignite something. They either feed the fire of fear or fuel the flame of faith. When I began speaking life, truth, and peace over myself, I noticed my reactions, my emotions, and even my trading behavior begin to shift. The internal storms that once ruled me started to calm. If you haven't tried this, even if you've read every self-help or trading psychology book, consider it as an experiment. Speak to God like a friend, asking for wisdom, guidance, and calm in decision-making. Notice how your self-talk begins to shift. Notice how your mind settles. You may find the fear and hesitation that once ruled your trading begin to dissipate. Faith doesn't just change beliefs. It changes your nervous system's response to fear, uncertainty, and pressure. Your words, your prayers, and your affirmations align your self-image with peace and competence. The calm that comes from this alignment is not theoretical. It's real, tangible, and transformative. Your self-image is your ultimate trading edge. The beliefs you hold, the words you speak, and the story you tell yourself shape your ability to act with clarity and confidence. Your self-talk, aligned with faith or deep personal conviction, rewires your mind, body, and trading outcomes. Ask yourself, who are you in your trading story? Are you the hero, the victim, or the observer ready to rewrite the narrative? Begin small. Visualize success. Speak life to yourself. Embrace risk, and if open, invite God into your journey. When your self-image transforms, it's like sailing through a storm with an anchor of peace. The waves don't stop, but you stop being tossed. That's when you discover the most important trade is always the one within yourself.